Well, to home. Remember Christine Holgate was forced to resign because she approved $20,000 be spent on Cartier watches for 4 senior executives. The 4 executives had delivered $66 million of new business. The Minister, Paul Fletcher, said, quote, "We need to take great care of taxpayers' money." Funny that from a government that has run up almost $1 trillion of debt. It puts a few Cartier watches into the shade. But let's talk waste. The same federal government gave a female artist $20,000 for her yawning room at a Woolloomooloo gallery. Who gave $72,000 to artists who don't even live in Australia? Does that pass the pub test? But the Prime Minister says he's shocked about waste. We're all shocked about waste. It's just that the government seems to be very selective about its shock. I remember last year $7.6 million handed out to contemporary artists under a 2020 Resilience Fund. $25,000 to an art group, Vital Statistics Incorporated, supporting a Melbourne artist whose project was called Immaculate, where she was filming monthly live self-inseminations to elevate the experience of queer reproduction and disrupt heteronormative parenting narratives. Actually, I think the Australian Council backed down on that one. But in her previous art, she knitted for 28 days using yarn placed in and drawn daily from her vagina to mark one full menstrual cycle. The Resilience Fund is meant to support the livelihoods, practice and operations of Australian artists. $10,000 for an artist whose previous work included being surgically cut in front of an audience 147 times. Funds for a quote-unquote artist whose practice includes sending messages to outer space. And a New South Wales woman who leaves knitting outside coal mines as a protest. Another COVID grant went to an artist who is a non-binary transmasculine person and a, quote, diasporic Koori who seeks to engage the audience as a co-agent in, quote, magical acts, MAGICKAL. $10,000 to a New South Wales artist, which asks the audience to lie down next to 3 giant mounds of mushrooms and dirt and cover their eyes and bags with soil. This is the Morrison government and the Australian Council for the Arts. Tony Abbott cut funding from the Australia Council because of this. Turnbull reinstated it. Well, an outstanding Australian artist, Tim Storrier, who won the 2017 Archibald Prize, the 2017 Doug Moran National Portrait Prize and the Sir John Silman Prize when he was only 19 years of age. Tim Storrier is a highly regarded artist whose work appears in the National Gallery of Australia, the Art Gallery of New South Wales and the Metropolitan Art Museum in New York, and he said correctly that taxpayers have been slugged millions of dollars to fund arts grants for groups that promote identity politics, embrace critical race theory beliefs, that Australia is a structurally racist nation. And as Tim Storrier says, under the general accepted meaning of the term art, large numbers of these grants are given to stuff that has nothing to do with art as people understand it. He joins me tonight. Tim, good evening. Thank you for your time. I mean, we've got this Victorian arts organisation, Creatives of Colour. They got $100,000 in taxpayer funds, and its mission is to maintain hope in the face of white supremacist oppression in the Australian arts sector. What the hell does that mean?
Well, I think it's accusing you and I of something, Alan, but I'm not exactly sure what. The thing that I don't quite understand that the minister, the federal minister, has said about the Arts Council, that it's autonomous and that it's independent. Well, yes, of course, but one has to go back to what the role of trustees are. Now, trustees are appointed by government, in this case, the Minister for the Arts. Basically, one of their serious roles is to oversee the spending of public money, not to waste it. Now, I don't understand why the minister has no say whatsoever over what clearly is money that's being used for political purposes that have almost nothing to do with the arts.
Absolutely. See, Tim, there's an outfit called New South Wales's Performance Space. Gets $45,000 for a show which seeks, it says, to radically destabilise the present. That's encouraging stuff.
Well, I mean, do these people know what type of viper they've taken to their breast? I mean, if you take the end result of a lot of the political activities of some of these organisations, they're looking at the dissolution of the Commonwealth. These are politicians that have no understanding of what really is going on in these organisations, and yet they are giving them enormous amounts of money.
See, a woman a couple of years ago was given $20,000 for her yawning room to be installed at her Woolloomooloogarra yawning room. I mean, what should happen, Tim? Well, if you were running the joint, what should happen?
Well, surely there is a place for a certain amount of state funding for the arts, but it has to be done judiciously with a sort of due diligence that looks at the quality of what's being produced. And that is clearly not happening. So you have this runaway train caused by the people who are running the Arts Council. And what's happened in these areas, in my opinion, is a type of dreadful nepotism where one group of people then give the tenureship of the judgments to other people that they know, who then give it to other friends of theirs. And so you get an established thing. I mean, look, it's quite clear. Any art student will tell you they're told how to fill out the forms. They know what they will get money for, and they know what they certainly wouldn't.
So, I mean, God, Paul Fletcher, the minister, I'm flabbergasted by this. He said of Christine Holgate, we need to take great care of taxpayers' money. Hello?
Well, I mean, there's something very strange that happens to ministers for the arts, especially if they're put in front of actresses or actors, Hollywood people particularly, but generally artists in general, they seem to have, mainly because they have no understanding of what's really going on, I suspect. So they're just flattered by the position and flop along with the whole silly idea.
Well, thank God for you and sticking your head up, because this stuff's got to stop. It's been going on for years and years and years. Thank you for talking to us, Tim. Go down and enjoy the cold of the Highlands. That's Tim Storrier. A welcome.
Right. Thank you, Alan.
You're most welcome, Tim. A welcome intervention in the swamp of artistic waste.